Yo, call me Sonic Frontiers, the definitive. Hey, everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Gamescapes today, and only today. We are here with breaking news, everyone. I come to you at a beautiful 3 a.m. upload time slot to tell you Sonic Frontiers Definitive Edition has been rated in Korea. I'm not even kidding you. Let me tell you the events of what just went on. I was literally chilling, watching the Hannah Montana 20th anniversary special. Dog shit, by the way. Don't watch it if you're a fan of the series. And then I started getting notifications. Fidel, look. Sonic Frontiers thing is happening on Twitter. Wario64. I'm like, what? And so, yeah, here it is. Sonic Frontiers Definitive Edition rated in Korea. Let's read this up really quickly. First of all, I want it to be clear, right? This is happening. If a game gets rated in Korea, it is never just a rumor, a maybe, who knows it, right? It is factually always it's happening. It's just a matter of when. This is not a rumor or anything. This is like straight up, it's happening. So that's thing number one to know. So Game Rating and Administrative Committee of Korea has rated the unannounced Sonic Frontiers Definitive Edition, right? The rating highlighted down below. Sonic Frontiers first launched for PS5, Xbox, PS5, all that stuff via November 2022, achieving lifetime sales of 4.57 million units. It received various post-launch content in the form of updates. The release of Definitive Edition is not new for recent Sonic games. Both Origins, Mania, both released got Definitive Edition. The reveal for Origins Plus also first leaked via Game Rating and Administrative Committee in Korea. So yeah, I mean, obviously this is a bombshell. There's a lot on my mind that I want to get into, that I want to yap about as this happens. But first things first, right? Like, again, mind me, my thoughts are scattered. I'm really hyper. First of all, this is my baby. This game I love so much. And there's so many interesting things because I do think of all games, Frontiers has a super fascinating potential for a Definitive Edition because it's weird. It's a game that received free updates, right? But it didn't receive like major DLC, right? Like it received, free updates. And so making a Definitive Edition that would just have those updates just baked into the game feels like weird because the updates are kind of like baked into the game if someone buys them now anyways. I'm like 95% sure besides like maybe one or two of the things, right? Yeah, like let's say I go look at the game here on my PlayStation. Everything is in the game as an update. The only thing that's a downloadable add-on is the Frontiers holiday outfit and the Monster Hunter outfit. So already out the gate, it doesn't make sense that they would need to release a Definitive Edition to add the content on the disc because the content is already basically on the disc. And so option two I could think about, and I'm sure a lot of people probably have this on their mind, is Switch 2 edition, right? Maybe a Switch 2 edition, because obviously the Switch version of the game notoriously looks like and runs kind of like booty cheeks. And so maybe this is a Switch 2 edition. But again, I feel like it would have just been rated as Sonic Frontiers Nintendo Switch 2 edition. I don't think it would have been labeled as Definitive Edition. For better or worse, right? I think this is something a little bit more substantial. Now, how substantial we're talking, I am not sure, right? Because there's a few routes they could go with this, right? Let's talk about route one and the obvious route. Again, this video is going to be scuffed because I'm recording it at this hour, but option one is it is factually just maybe a update to the game, right? Where, all right, let's maybe add 120 FPS, right, on PS5 Pros, right? Maybe fixing the pop-in. I think that could be that's to me the simple, easiest one is potentially fix the pop-in, fix some of the glitches and problems of the game because, as much as I love stuff like the Final Horizon and the game, and I'm sure a lot of people know this, right? Frontiers has a lot of issues, right? In terms of, sometimes it's pop-in, sometimes some of the bugginess that could happen in it. And so I think factually, no matter what, word for word, bar for bar, I feel like the pop-in is going to be the number one fixed thing about this if this is happening, right? I just think like it is crazy if they have a Definitive Edition of the game without that, right? Option and thought process number two is potentially this is like a massive definitive edition. Like, I'm talking potentially baked in CG moments like this in the game, right? Potentially baked in new cinematics, right? Potentially a better character model for Sonic, maybe some better movements. Like, that's like the type of shit my brain is going to right now. It might be because I'm feeling haywire and I'm feeling a little crazy at this hour, right? But that's where my mind goes to first and foremost. Like, okay, if you are going to lock in and do a definitive edition, you got to make sure the game is fully polished and locked in, right? And I know some people are going to sit here and be like, why are they doing this? You know, they should be doing the new thing. Let's keep a few things in mind. One, right? You know what's fucking crazy is I wish I had made a video about this before this is announced, because I swear to you, I'm not even lying. I was thinking about this recently where I was going in my mind. I was like, I feel like you could do some type of next gen BS with Frontiers, you know, where you gave it some kind of like big update. I don't know. I was thinking maybe because I was thinking about a potential Switch 2 edition or something, but I feel like in my mind, I've been thinking about this for a little bit. But I mean, we could see something to that extent where it's like, all right, you know what I mean? Let's maybe make a $10 upgrade for the people that own the game. And it's going to be not just fixes and stuff, but potentially new stuff. Because here's the thing, right? You get into murky territory. If this is just a quality of life fix update, this is probably going to be free, right? If you are going to try to find a way to, you know, up the price here, make people potentially pay $10, you got to do something significant. You know what I mean? I'm talking potentially a better character model. I'm talking about new attack moves. I'm talking about potentially being able to play as the cast in any area of the game, potentially being able to play as them in the cyberspace levels, adding online leaderboards to cyberspace, making the cyberspace levels from the Final Horizon available in, you know, the arcade mode post game. Like, there's so much shit they could do. I'm just gonna have some of my classic Frontiers gameplay here as I yap about this, right? But obviously another thing that they could change and update are like the, you know, smooched cutscenes, right? Maybe make that a full widescreen. You know, even the Titan battles, maybe fix up Supersonic in there, fix up some of the mechanics. Like, dude, there is like I cannot, like, I'm processing it. You could even fix like the 2D physics in 2D for cyberspace. Like, we're potentially looking at something where, all right, hey, next mainline game, Fidel, is probably next year to hold people over. This is truly the buffer year, and we are going to continue to get stuff like Crossroads updates, right? But, you know, something you might be able to chew on until then is a update to Sonic Frontiers, right? Where potentially, right, with this update, you know, you could have fixes to some of these puzzles, right? You can make some more interesting one. You can integrate, you know, potentially more upgrades. Like, I don't know, like I'm going haywire here a little bit, but I'm starting to see the gears turn. Right now, the next potential step that they could take that I don't think they're going to do, right? But this is definitely the big one that I'm sure a lot of people, as a lot of people know, originally Uranus was sort of split onto 2 different islands. That's a crazy notification to get. The completion is gifting 5 subs. That's crazy. This was 5 years ago before everything, but that anyways. But it is crazy. Originally, you know, Kronos was one massive island. Uranus wasn't its own thing, and it was one big area. So there's a chance maybe they do something where they restore original Kronos or some of the deleted areas in there. I don't think they can do that without like fundamentally changing the game, because like no matter how you feel about how it might have turned out, like Uranus has its own story beats and areas and things to go through. As well as, you know, the what was the other one? It's Uranus, and then it's the mini area where you just Rhea, right, where you just climb the towers. And so I don't think that those areas are going to be molded together. Now they could be put together, and maybe there's just nothing to do until you get to that point in the story. But yeah, that's another thing I could think of, that they restore Kronos and they restore some of the boss animations. Because if you remember, a lot of modders since then have done this and fixed this, but there's a lot of unused animations from the Titan fights that a lot of just fans have ended up restoring in mods. So potentially they could be adding that to the game. Like, I don't know, dude. Like, the more I look into this in my mind, the more like, oh my god, like this could 1,000,000% make sense, right? And again, there's so many directions they can take. It can be as simple as quality of life fixes and changes and updates, potentially some more upgraded difficulty stuff, potentially even more enhanced new game plus stuff, potentially even more costumes, right? That's the big one that I could think of, right? Is they're finally going to give Sonic like full costumes and customizations. But I really do think if they do this, they're even going to update the model. I know my voice is cracked, but I feel like an update to the model and some of the movement and everything could be very crazier. Like, I don't know, man. There's everywhere. Now, there is a other crazy option they could go with, right? And I think this is probably the last resort, that this is probably the most wishful thinking. Potentially DLC, potentially like an actual, like, hey, $10 upgrade, $20 upgrade, and you are not just about to get, quality of life fixed frontiers. You're about to get an expansion, baby, and it's going to be focused around Metal Sonic, right? Potentially some movie tie-in shenanigans going on, where you get an island where Metal Sonic is a menace and you potentially have to depower him, or you're going to have to fight a version of Neo Metal, or you get races against Metal Sonic in some of the cyberspace levels. Like, I'm seeing that potential stuff over there going on as well. Now, again, that is truly me. That's like the extreme, right? That's like if this is going to be like, damn, bro, like we're going on now. I don't know, man. Calling it a definitive edition is so different to me. Like I said, what throws me off about this is that it is being called a definitive edition, because it doesn't make sense to do a definitive edition of something that's already on next-gen hardware and is already, like, I'm pretty sure it is 1440p 60 on PS5. I could be wrong about that, but the game looks good on modern hardware. Like, it is 60 FPS, it's stable. And I don't think they would call a Switch 2 upgrade the definitive edition. I think they would call it I think they would just call this, the Nintendo Switch 2 edition of the game, much like they did for other ones. And again, just like that article pointed out, this isn't like a new thing that Sonic does. Like, Sonic has done this for games like Mania with Mania Plus. They've done this for games like Sonic Origins. And so obviously for this game, it would be weird to do this to a Sonic game years later. But I don't know, man. I feel like Sonic Frontiers is a game that, like, a lot of the fans still really love. And I feel like revisiting it, or giving it people an excuse to revisit it and potentially have a game to sell during this holiday, would be crazy. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I'm a little weirded out, obviously, on obviously a different note. Like, if this is the 35th anniversary thing to keep us buffered, obviously that's a little disappointing, because there's collections they could be doing, there's more games they could be re-releasing, but I think we all agree, and we've all talked about this before, right? The difference is with Sonic, it's like, we want Sonic Team at the end of the day to make the best thing that they possibly can, right? And if they feel like, hey, they need a bit more time with a mainline game, and they don't just want to have something out just to have something out, I mean, this is like a heavily possible big thing for this holiday, which, granted, I don't think this is the same. This isn't going to sell gangbusters. This might be to maybe get the game to, like, push to that 5 million unit mark. But I don't know. I feel like even then, however you do this, you're gonna have to do something really different. I do hope number one is a Nintendo Switch 2 edition, though. Like, if this definitive edition is happening, I want it to be on Switch 2. And because I'd love to have the Frontiers on Switch that runs well and plays well. But I do think, like, here's my thing. My number one prediction is they're gonna fix the poppin'. I think that's going to be the number thing, is that, like, the first and foremost factual thing that this thing is going to do is it's going to be a quality of life update, where it's like, hey, we fixed some of the bugs, we fixed the poppin' entirely, like, it's not there anymore. I think that step above it is the animations. I think they could potentially update Sonic's model and some of the animations, some of the movements, right? Option 3 is they add some of the cut content to the game, right? Option 4 is that we get potentially new costumes, and then obviously the big one, potential 5, is we're talking about cut content, potentially new content with a Metal Sonic fight leading into Amy. I do think, though, having the gang playable outside of the DLC is probably the biggest thing that they could probably do. That would make sense. I mean, it never felt right that the gang was locked to just whatever they were doing in updated Uranos, right? I feel like they have to to potentially, you know, go further beyond and do some more with them, or have them playable someplace else. But either way, yeah, this is not what I expected to see at 3 a.m. Now, next question, right, that I'm thinking about, that I'm answering myself. I can't believe this is happening. When could this possibly show up? Well, it might be sooner than later. In fact, we might straight up be 2 days away from this announcement. There is a Xbox partner preview that is happening in about 2 days, which might be soon, but hear me out, right? During the Xbox preview, you'll get an in-depth look at RGG's new Project Stranger Than Heaven, an update on Stalker 2, and you look at the expansive Osiris Reborn, an action RPG set in the worlds of James Z. That's not all we'll have for you. We'll have first looks and announcements from more great games coming to Xbox consoles, Xbox, and PC, and Game Pass. Now, the reason I think that it could be here is, remember, while PlayStation does have a deal with Sonic currently, as far as we know, in terms of Crossroads and Sonic Shadow Generations, there is no deal that Sonic Frontiers had. Sonic Frontiers was kind of going around at every conference, every event, doing its own thing, doing its own marketing. So it could potentially be here at this Xbox showcase, because let's do, like, you know, the math. When was, right over here, when was Sonic Origins Plus leaked? So Sonic Origins leaked at about, I'm trying to find the area here. Let's look this up. So February 10th was when Sonic Origins Plus got leaked, right, or rated. And then when did Sonic Origins Plus reveal? When did it get revealed? Let's check this right here. It got revealed in June. So okay, it doesn't, so maybe wishful thinking probably on the Xbox showcase. We could potentially be seeing a Summer Games Fest type thing, or obviously, you know, a Sonic Central. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like an announcement like that, I feel like that's not like a big Summer Games Fest trailer. I think that's maybe something for the fans that you announce at like a Sonic Central or something. But I have a hard time seeing this being like a big thing at, you know, a Summer Games Fest, unless it's paired with a second announcement. If they have 2 Sonic announcements coming, which is probably most likely what they're gonna do, I could see it. I could, if anything, see the trailer be like Sonic Frontiers, and then it leads into you know, whatever the next mainline game is. But I'm in shock, guys. I really am. I did not expect to be talking about this, yapping about this at this wee hour of the night. Like I said, I mean, Sonic Frontiers, you guys all know, is one of my favorite games. But yeah, this definitive edition thing is so like fascinating. And again, like I said, I know a lot of people are gonna sit there and be like, well, Fidel, what are they doing? You know, I mean, there's a lot of games that they can go back to in their library, and I agree, they can, right? But maybe they're just thinking that, like, look, I mean, Sonic Frontiers is the foundation of our next game, and we want to just keep making sure Frontiers is a great legacy, because I think it does have a great legacy. And maybe it's just easy for them to experiment. Maybe it's just something where they're like, it's easy for us to fix this and update this while people wait for the next thing. But yeah, I mean, definitive edition of the game, to me, it tells me that, again, it's being re-released in stores, and I think it's gonna have a different box art. And I don't know, man. To me, something's gonna be notable in this. You do not, again, if we were getting free DLC when the updates came out, I would be, you know, I'd be like, all right, this is probably just like the DLC bundled holiday edition of the game. But again, this is a game with everything was an update, right? And everything's on the disc if you buy it today, right? It just downloads part of it. And so I'm having a hard time believing that this is just the in-game content, because all the in-game content is already in the game. And so I'm surprised, I'm shocked. I'm obviously, there's a lot going through my mind. Hopefully we get an update sooner than later. But yeah, this is one way to celebrate the 35th anniversary. But again, I do think ultimately this is only going to benefit Sonic Frontiers. I think Sonic Frontiers is one of my favorite games in the franchise. And dude, in a perfect world, popping is fixed, glitches are fixed, there's more quality of life features, maybe some even extra bonus levels that didn't make it into the game, some new themes for cyberspace would be fucking awesome if they did something like that. Like, obviously, let me know in the comment section below, what do you expect from this? What do you think about this? Like, I know, it just came out of nowhere, just like this video probably is in your sub box at this hour on a random Wednesday. But yeah, of course, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. Maybe they're gonna add some new fishing, but man, a Metal Sonic update with Amy, I feel like lock that shit in, bro. That would be fire, bro. That would be fire. But you're gonna have to do something notable if you want people to double dip, especially on a game that's what, like, it's 4 years old, man. I've literally, it's so funny, dude. This is a year where I was potentially expecting the next mainline Sonic game. And so to potentially be just getting more Frontiers. But hey, man, listen, I love Frontiers. If they update Frontiers and it looks amazing, plays fantastic, shit, dude, I'm not gonna complain. I mean, of course, I want new first and foremost, but I'll take this. I mean, I love this game so much. Even just looking at it gets me excited for eventually going back. And there's a lot we could look forward to, dude. Titan fights with potentially the cut content, some more remixes, some more music added to the game, everything, costumes. I don't know. There's so much they could do. This could literally be the smallest potential, man, update of all time, or it could be something that really changes up the game a lot and gets us prepped for movie 4. I'm not sure how deep it's going to go, but guys, thank you all for watching. Let me know what you all think about potential, man, update going on here. I'm losing my mind. I'm excited. I'm ready. But of course, yeah, I will see you all later today for Mega Man DLC in Sonic as well. Losing my shit.